5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
All right. How's everybody doing? I am here lurking in the shadows. So happy Friday, everybody. I don't know about you, but I'm getting kind of filling up a little bit of that holiday spirit, you know? All these people running around, they're bah humbugging and they're complaining. Man, it's the end of the year. Let's enjoy some music. Let's enjoy each other's company. Let's have some fun. I'm having a great morning. And the reason I'm so great is I noticed that Kinky Friedman was on Awake this morning, which he's in Austin, and Kinky is not known for rising early. But I will be talking later this afternoon and formalizing. Kinky will be appearing on the show, and we'll have him on in January. And there's other things in the foot. Kinky is out and about. If you're out in Texas, damn sure catch up with Kinky Friedman, the original Texas Jew boy. And he is a character, I have to tell you. As he says, let's put a Jew in the White House. Yep, he is a crazy bastard. And I have to tell you, I like him. I love him. He's a great author. I kind of think he's like the poet laureate for the United States. He ran for governor of Texas, and he got quite a few people. Humbug. Oh, Gina, come on, babe. You're killing me here. Maybe come out there and have to put a smile on your face. Good morning. Good morning, Susan. How are you? Kim, I'm glad you're here. Today I have a really great guest. She's been on my show, one of the earliest guests I had. And the fact that she still will come on when I give her a call really makes me feel good and warm and fuzzy. Donna's been doing this a long time, playing music, rock and roll, country, singing the blues. And I dig her. Hey, Susan, good morning. You know, the bottom line is, she's been working and working and working and working, and she's still working. And she's an itinerant troubadour. She goes around the country, and people go, oh, man, she's a woman, you know, she's out by herself with her and Eddie, her great looking little dog. But you know what? It's what rock and roll and music's all about. It's not about the big shows. It's about the people who are out there grinding away, making our living at it. Get up in the morning, go to work. People don't realize what a job it is being an entertainer and how difficult it is. And Donna's been doing this for a long time. And I really respect her because she hasn't given up. She's been through ups and downs like we all do. She recently fell and had some physical ailments, which, you know, that happened to me last year. 5 broken bones in my shoulder. I now look like the mechanical Turbo Man. I have titanium struts. I have 12 screws about that big, and it's one hell of a mess to look at it on an x-ray. But, you know, you see, I can still go back to playing drums. I have full range of motion for the most part. Am I a pain-free individual? Fuck no. But you know what? At 60 years old, if you're pain-free, you're not working hard enough. You're not trying. You're not doing fun stuff. And all I can tell you is my show is all about fun. We're in the holiday season, people. I'm going to run through some of the information that's on the news today. I'm much more happy that Kinky Friedman's coming on my show. I'm also hoping to, I can't even tell you, there's secret talks afoot for some cool stuff regarding Kinky in the New York area, but have to be zip it good. So we have in crazy shit, once again, that crazy cracker freakazoid, Alex Jones has had Kanye and some other racist bastard, Fuentes, on his show. I can't think of a bigger collection of assholes, pardon my French. Kanye is an anti-Semitic bigot. Alex Jones is just a batshit crazy guy, owes about 70 million for running his yap too much. And all I can say is come and watch my show. We're a lot nicer than Alex Jones, and we don't entertain conspiracy theories. We don't entertain racists. Man, I don't care what you are, who you are, what color you are, where you come from. Just be cool and be decent, treat people well, and we'll get along fine. All this crap of this anti-Semitic wave of bullshit going on, it's disgusting. I don't like people ragging on black people, gay people, or anybody else. Just knock it off, people. It's Christmas and Hanukkah and Eid and all these other holidays. And just for once, gosh darn, just get along for the month. Be nice to people. If you're a real jerk, maybe you'll find out that being nice to people pays off. There's so many studies that show if you have a low agreeability factor, that's the technical term for it. I just call it being an a-hole. I'm sorry. We all know people like that. You've had them in your bands. You work with them. You've had them for club owners. You have them for family members. But just, it's the holiday season. Take a deep breath and get into the mindset of, I'm not going to argue or bitch about anything. Now, for me, having a show, it's impossible because I'm always bitching about something and complaining. But, I'm going to try my best just to be a little nicer for a couple of weeks. And then I'll be back to my asshole self now. I try my best. Somebody asked you, well, what do you think about Neil? I think he's a real asshole. They'd be right. I have been on occasion. People have deserved my aggravation, let's say. And there's other people telling me the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, it's probably both true, depending on how you've encountered me. And I can assure you, I don't just run around and yell at people. I try to get along. I'm a pretty affable young guy. Rick Davis, you want to meet Kanye? Yeah, I bet you do. My friend Rick is a black belt in karate. I'm sure he'd like to give him a tune-up. Good morning, Toby Simmons, the girl from Wilshire Boulevard. How are you, babe? I sent you an invite to come on the show and talk about Toby's special events page is excellent. If you're in LA, you definitely want to check it out. And wherever you are, you should check it out because you'll get a good education on what's happening in the LA club scene. Toby kicks ass, and she's been a fan for a long time, and I really love her. All right, I got the Muzak boys here. Hey, guys, what's happening? These are my friends, the young people. You see, we're even getting representation from young people watching my show. It's amazing. Yeah, and Rick, I agree. We'd send Iden over there to talk to Kanye and give him a little attitude adjustment. I agree. Gina, I see you. You're up and about. You had a frown about Christmas. We're going to have to see. I think maybe you've just been naughty and you're looking for a spanking. What do I know? I don't know. You seem like a nice lady. Getting back to your question, how is life? Life is so damn good. I have great friends. I got killer family. I have great guests who you're going to see shortly. You're going to see Donna play some music. And all in all, it's the end of the year and I feel pretty good. I feel better than I did last year. It is December now. I'm going to just say something. Everybody who watches the show, my show is free, okay? You watch it, you get some joy out of it, hopefully, or you get some laughs. Maybe you get annoyed and angry. I don't know. Whatever you do. I appreciate you watching. I also don't badger people throughout the year. Think of my show as NPR. That's right. I'll give you a real slow, low delivery here. You're on NPR, which is the Neve Public Research Center. That's right. So Live with Neve is on NPR, Neve Public Radio. I'm sure that the folks at NPR would be very upset with me. They'd get so pissed off and they'd be cranky. They'd probably want to sue me, but it is my name, so I'm going to stand by it. NPR is NPR, and I'm Neil Public Radio. So the gist of my grifting here is to remind you, we work on tips, okay? The past 3 years, we've had great tips, and then some years we've had no tips. This year is one of those years where we've had one all year long. So look, if you like the show, send a tip. I don't know, send me, a bag of weed. No, I'm kidding you. I'm kidding. Please don't. I don't want anybody getting into trouble. But if you feel like you like the show, send us a tip in the next month. We appreciate it. I plan to this year be doing much more on-location shoots around the country, and that gets expensive. So if you do like the show and you like to see it in weird places, just throw us a bone once in a while. And again, you can watch the show all you want, and but it would be nice. I'm glad, Gina, because you're too cute to be having humbug. You know, I mean, don't make me come out there and get out the lash. I wear a very nice. You probably saw it when I was out there. A snakeskin anaconda belt that I bought in San Remo, Italy. And some of the ladies just love that thing. I don't know why, but call me silly. There's some girls who like that kind of stuff. I don't know if Gina's one of them, but you never know. She looks very sweet and demure, but I know those quiet types, man. Just watch out. They're quiet. Their currents run deep. I don't know if anybody heard that. It sounded like they just dropped the roof on me. They didn't. I have work being done upstairs. Sounds like they're tearing the crap out of downstairs. They're also working there. Can you guys hear that in the background, anybody? So, yeah, so what are you guys doing with the research center? 1 million yen. Yeah, I'll put up some money just to smack Kanye around. I don't know. I think what we do is we take up a collection to I don't know, $2 per spear poke. Whatever he's doing, this is my point. If you're a guy, do not under any circumstances, I'll put this delicately, do not do anything with a Kardashian, okay? I mean, look at these guys. You got Bruce Jenner's running around. He's got some confusion. We have Kanye, who's always been confused, but he's at times been somewhat lucid. And right now, the guy's just off his chain, and I want to slap him around. That said, I don't see how he can redeem himself. I mean, he's pissed off so many people at this point. It's what is that, Rick? You're saying $9 to take a smack at? He'd be like at the carny. We hang him up and we throw baseballs at him and put him in the dunk tank. That doesn't hurt him, but it has fun, you know. Can you imagine Kanye at the Arkansas Fair sitting in the dunk tank telling people all of his bullshit? I'd pay $20 for a ball. I'll drop him right in too. I'm a pretty good pitcher. And all I can say is he doesn't want to try me, man. I'll hit him 4 out of 5 times. I guarantee it. In fact, I'll back up each time and I'll still hit his dumb ass. I just like to see him dump in the water. I don't wish the guy any ill. I don't wish anybody any ill. You know, life's too short. Don't have to be out there wishing Breaking Bad. But on Kanye, you know, I'll make an excuse and slap him around while he's down. Sorry. Maybe I should have Kanye on when I have Kinky Friedman. Now, that would be a great debate. The Texas Jew boy versus Kanye, the whatever the hell he calls himself. Yeezy. First off, the guy's got issues that he can't figure out his name. Every week he's changed it from Yeezy to Yee. He was calling him Jesus for a while, I think. I mean, sorry, as far as I know, there's only one Jesus Christ, and he's not wandering around in Kanye's body. It's just not, haven't seen that happen yet. So I don't know what he's jabbering about, but all I can tell you is he's pissing me off. I'm going to get all Old Testament on his ass, and, you know, we're just going to have some trouble. But enough about that. I'm going to play a song here. We've only got a minute, and then I'm going to have Donna on. Before we do that, I'm going to play you a song that is one of my favorites, and I don't think she's done it on the show, and I'm not going to put her on the spot, but this song to me is what life's all about. You know, people tell me how much my show sucks, and I go, yeah, you needed a PhD to figure that out. You can't worry about people who are going to talk about you. Just do what you do, be happy about it, do your best. And, you know, no matter what we do, all of us are going to suck sometimes. And it happens usually at moments where we really don't want it to happen. But you get through it. So this song's a song Donna wrote, and I think she wrote it a while ago. It's from her album Quarantine Sessions, Volume 2, which while I'm talking here, please go, anybody who's on my show, go to their page, check out what they've got, and buy something from them. It's simple, man. It's the holiday season. Remember, if you buy a CD for $20, people, that gives an artist more money than 17,000 plays on Spotify. So $20, you could spend years trying to get that out of Spotify. Give them some money. People work hard for this shit. They do not do this for fun. Actually, we do all do it for fun. But fun and exposure gigs, that shit doesn't pay the bills. This song is about pressing on, and we've all got challenges in our life. And this song just sort of strikes my heart a little bit, so I hope it does you too. Here's some Donna Frost, and she'll be with you. I'm going to close out the segment when the song is over, and I'll see you back in 2 minutes. All right. I'm just reading my thing here. I am so sorry, people. You couldn't hear it. Donna, could you hear it? No. Oh my sure. Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Let's just move on. I'm not going to run any spots here. Let's just bring Donna on and get it. Hell with all this
Hello,
nonsense. I'm
hello,
so sorry,
everybody.
guys. That's such a great tune too. I love the
I'll
lyrics
just
to it.
play it first thing today. How about that?
Well, that sounds great. How you doing
Okay.
today?
Uh, good. I've been through a lot, as you know.
Yes.
Uh, in the last 6 weeks, I was in a car wreck, and then I got COVID, and then I fell, and then I thought I
Yeah.
was taking my back
How are you doing from the
injury.
fall? Are you up and about?
Um, I'm getting out playing. I've been able to get out and play. I had to cancel some things, but I've been able to get out and play the last few weeks.
Great.
I canceled all my road dates till after the holidays.
Good. Good.
'Cause I'm really not in any condition to go too far right now. But
Right.
I've been having all this stuff with my back and my left leg, and I've been getting treated for that. So it's just been, I said, once I got on Medicare, everything just went.
Things seem to come in threes, so I'm hoping things will just get better for you. And it's a
But
new
I've had some
year.
good, yeah, I've got a lot of good things, a lot of good things to be thankful for. But I have really been through a lot physically the
Yes.
last 6 weeks, and but and it wears on you emotionally. But I don't let anything get me down because I am the eternal optimist, and I refuse to roll over. It's going to take a lot more than what I've been through to get me down for the count. So
Absolutely. And I like that about you because I know you're probably chomping at the bit this whole time after you fell. You're going, oh my gosh, I can't do this.
oh,
And I'm the same way. I hate missing a show because I got a cold or sick. I try. The show must go on, and
yeah, it has to. Of course,
you're
with
you're a
COVID,
great
we had no
example.
choice. Yeah.
So
When I had COVID last month, that was rough because you're just isolated and you can't do be around anybody, and I couldn't play, and it just broke my heart. I'm like, gosh, I want to get over this. But anyway, I'm
it,
here. I'm
it's good you
happy.
had Eddie to keep you company.
Oh yeah, I got Eddie and my family's here, and
Yeah,
they
I
take
noticed
good
it was
care
your brother's birthday not long
of
ago.
me. And yeah,
And
last
you have a
Friday.
great family. I have to say, watching how you all handled it when your mom passed away and so forth, you really have a
Yeah,
good family, and that's something we all can are thankful for if you have it, if you're lucky enough.
that's right. And we're real grateful, and we love the holidays. Of course, they're bittersweet because this is the second Christmas without my mom, and
Sure.
that
God,
hurts.
it doesn't seem like it's been that long. We've been friends
Yeah,
now for 3 years, and I'm just
yeah.
amazed. I'm
How
glad
can
you're still
I
here, and you are one of my
Okay,
first
still
guests.
here.
I'm really glad to see you're still out there kicking ass. And remember, if you want to come up in this area, I can sure find you a couple of gigs in the
I would
local area.
love to. I would. Let's talk about that for next year. I would really like to do that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the show, or
Can we
further. As
come?
the summertime here is great at the shore, and
Yeah, I'd love to come. I'd love to
you
come.
know.
Let's do it.
Yep.
I
Well, I'll
would
tell
really.
you what. We'll even put you up here at Castle Van Erdy. You got a nice view of New York and the water, and you can just be at a gig in about 15 minutes, right down the
I
beach.
love it.
All right. Well,
I
why don't
love
you
it.
play something for us? Since I kind of screwed that whole thing up.
And let me show all the. I've got. The
Sure.
last two
Yeah, I'm
years
going to
I've
take
put out
myself off.
Quarantine Sessions 1, Quarantine Sessions Volume 2. Those are guitar albums I wrote and released during the pandemic. My ukulele album called Thankful, which came out this year, that's original. And my first gospels EP, You Are My Song, which I just released. So, hey, I've been busy the last 2 years, right? But I ought to play this for you. And this was the one that was on the video. And my mother always said when we were going through hard times that we press on another day. This song has really touched a lot of people. Like Neil. Neil has, you've given me affirmation. A lot of people have. Because all of us have been through so much the last couple of years since the pandemic, and we've all suffered losses and stuff. So I want to share this song with y'all. And
Well, thank you so much. I love having you here too, because you're a real human being, and I like that. I like people who just are authentic and do. They walk by their own drummer, and you do that, and I respect the hell out of that.
I
Here we go,
appreciate
Donna
it.
Frost.
Press on, here we go. So, like I said, my mama always said that, and that's become our motto now. I've overcome many obstacles, they've made me very strong. But lately I can't escape the sadness. I feel I don't belong. It's hard for me to smile. My heart is filled with pain, and I wonder if I'll ever be my old self once again. I remember when my mama used to say, you gotta press on another day. Yeah, you gotta press on another day. Nothing's ever perfect. Things don't always go your way. You make the best of a situation, whether it's good or bad, and remember all those blessings life you had. You gotta press on another day. Now this mountain's been the highest I've ever tried to climb. Struggling my emotions, I need my peace of mind. Trying to move forward, face the days ahead, and even though I am hopeful, I still live with fear and dread. I remember what my mama used to say, you gotta press on another day. Yeah, you gotta press on another day. Nothing's ever perfect. Things don't always go your way. Make the best of the situation, whether it's good or bad, and remember all those blessings like you had. You gotta press on another day. Yeah. I remember the hard times here before, how we always made it through. With heck, hope and a lot of love, and always staying true. Never compromised our beliefs. They made us who we are, and those lessons that I learned, they carried me this far. I can still hear my precious mama say, you gotta press on another day. Yeah, you gotta press on another day. Nothing's ever perfect. Things don't always go your way. Make the best of the situation, whether it's good or bad, and remember all those blessings and life you had. You gotta press on another day. Yeah. You gotta press on another day. One more time. You gotta press on another day. Like my mama used to say, press on another day.
All right, that's Donna for us. We'll be right back here on Live with Neve. We're going half past the hour. I'll see you in just a moment. All right. What's happening, people? You like that? How about it, folks? Come on, this is good stuff. So, can you hear me, Donna? Okay?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
I hear you just great. I wanted to just make sure, because sometimes things get a little squirrely around the edges. And
No problem at all.
well, that wonderful internet stuff. But So
Nice.
since you're here and it's such a great holiday time, would you like
Yeah.
to play some holiday music? I know you've got a couple of tunes and traditionals, and rather than me sitting here flapping my jaws, I even just blew past the break. I said, you know what? It's better to hear you playing than me talking. It's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you. Well, how's about since I'm from Tennessee, I got to play something by a Christmas song by Brenda Lee.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, here we are, Donna Frost.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung so you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie, do some caroling. It will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, rocking around the Christmas tree. Have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way. Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung so you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie, do some caroling. You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, rocking around the Christmas tree. Have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way. There you go.
All right. That I'm getting ready. Hey, friend, I've got a friend of mine who's back lurking in the green room with us today.
Oh,
Fran
cool.
has her own show, and she's just sitting back there wondering what she's gotten herself into this morning with me.
Oh.
Any rate, I'm going to bring her on in a moment. Actually, I'm just going to bring her on now so we can, introduce her to everybody.
All right.
She's potentially someone who might, you never know, maybe you'll get somewhere around the show occasionally. So, how you doing?
Hello,
Fran?
hello.
What's
I'm
happening?
the lurker.
You're the lurker all the
I
time.
am the
I've heard that
lurker.
about you. You've got a reputation.
Uh-oh.
I like your shirt. Very good. You're prepared.
Yes.
Very
Tree
good.
of life.
So, Friends had a show for a couple of years that I appeared on, much to critical acclaim. I know it was the biggest show in her history.
It was up for some award of some kind.
Award of
I
some
remember
kind,
being
most
nominated
demented
for that
co-host
episode.
or whatever. But yeah, I really liked your show. You were a lot of fun. You had you and your partner, your cohort, partner in crime or unindicted conspirator, whatever she was. So you guys had a fun show. And
We did. It was a radio show at first, and then it was more of a podcast. It's called the Makeshift Happen Show. We haven't done it in a while. That was my friend, my buddy Lisa A. We are the Shift Chicks. We had a great time. I actually veered off for a little while onto more of a traditional radio show, a talk show called Preferred Company. I was doing that on radio station down in Toms River, and then I left to go back into the working world. This isn't work. This is fun. And
yeah, fun is great, but you got to try. It's got to make the bills, right?
Exactly. You got it. There's a whole, yeah, exactly. So anyway, I've been fortunate that I was able to fill in a little bit here and there on Preferred Company. But it's good to see you, Neil. You look good. It's nice to meet you.
I feel good.
Donna, I was listening to your music. It sounds very festive.
Oh, it definitely is. And Donna's a great guest. She's one of my earliest guests on the show, and I just love her to death. So, Fran, Donna, do you have some requests? What would you like to play? We're Christmassy, and rather than me running my yap, would you like to play some more Christmas stuff?
This is one I wrote.
Oh,
Okay,
This is
great.
about
an
Christmas.
original
and
Christmas
everything.
song.
And then
You don't get too many of
when you
those.
get done, I want to ask you about. When you're done,
This
I
is
want to
called
ask you
'Tis the
about.
Season. And I like,
It's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
pardon?
to interrupt you. I was going to say after the show's or the song is over, I want to ask you about Elvis and the toll booth because I've run
Oh,
into
sure.
Elvis
Absolutely.
in many, many
Right.
different locations, and Elvis is everywhere, as they say. And I've bumped into him. I once, late at night, witnessed an Elvis impersonator that I was working with in a band take a whipping from a big old girl down south who put a beating on him. I was watching her
Oh, wow.
rip chunks of hair out of him. And I hate to say it, he wasn't really fun to work with. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Wherever you are, JR, I have pictures to prove it, man. And all I can tell you, the guy was a nice bunch of fellas. You never see stuff like that. To see an Elvis in full regalia getting whipped on in the parking lot, shit happens. Not shift. Shit literally happens sometimes.
This is true.
But so here we have Donna. She's going to play us a lovely song, and I'm going to be quiet for a while.
Yeah. This is an original Christmas song. I wrote this with my friend Richard Fleming long ago, and it was about Christmas at our house. And of course, some of the family members I name off in the song aren't here anymore, but then we have more family members that have come along, and your traditions just keep carrying on, you know. But this has a little Chuck Berry groove to it, of course, right? Here we go. December always brings chilly weather, but the feeling's warm when family gets together. Uncle John's helping Grandma in the kitchen. It's a time of year for smiles and reminiscing. 'Tis the season, nights filled with wonder. Around a tree and underneath the mistletoe, friends are calling, snow keeps falling, the fire is freezing. 'Tis the season. Now Mama's hanging up the Christmas stockings. Grandpa's in his easy chair just rocking. Daddy's gonna get his old guitar a little later. Well, I'll sing jingle bells and away in the manger. 'Tis the season, lights filled with wonder. Around the tree and underneath the mistletoe, friends are calling, snow keeps falling, the fire is freezing. 'Tis the season. Come on, Santa, bring me a new car. When it's time for bed, the kids put on their pajamas and leave up milk and cookies out just for Santa. He'll be sliding down the chimney without warning, just like he does every Christmas morning. 'Tis the season, lights filled with wonder. Around the tree and underneath the mistletoe, friends are calling, snow keeps falling, fire is freezing. 'Tis the season, the fire is freezing. 'Tis the season.
All right. Yeah.
That's how it was, and that's
There
how
I
it
am.
used to you know, we still do, you know,
Oh, hold on. I'm adding you
on
back.
down, you know, so.
It's a
And
nice tune. I like that one. I'm turning you up a little bit.
Thank you.
There we go.
It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a nice tune. I like that. So how about do you have any particular favorite Christmas tunes that are traditionals that you like to play in your set? at the holiday time?
Traditional. Oh, I've got lots. Do you mean like the Christmas carols or?
Sure. Anything festive. Hey, friend, you're back.
I'm here. Yes. Hi. That was great. I loved it. I like.
Okay, let's see. I do a different version of White Christmas. You know, one of my favorite albums is the Phil Spector Christmas album, and he gave us such great music. But his Christmas album is one of my favorites, and it's just so I'm going to play the version of White Christmas I like. This ain't going to be Bing Crosby version, so.
Well, that's okay. I love Bing and all those old holiday songs. Here we go, Donna Frost.
Okay, here we go. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Oh, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops listen and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Oh, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Yeah, be white.
All right, you're listening to Live with Neve. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Hey there, it's Kevin Sorbo here, and you lucky people, you are live. You're live with Neve or Neve or Neve. I don't know. I can't say the dude's name. Anyway, you're on live with him, so I don't know. I guess that's a pretty good thing.
Hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I am hanging with Neve, and I am having the best time of my life.
Live with Neve, Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
All right, man. That was very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
You sounded really nice.
That's one of my favorite Christmas albums. My real favorite, of course, is I love Chicago's Christmas albums. They do some really great ones. And of course, Elvis, because my uncle produced Elvis. So
tell us a little bit about your uncle. I don't think a lot of our guests know that about your uncle, and you have some great photos. I mean, really cool.
His name was Felton Jarvis, and he was Elvis's producer from the time of the comeback special until Elvis passed away. And in fact, when Uncle Felton he was a staff producer down in Atlanta for the Lowry Group first, and he produced Sheila and Everybody by Tommy Rowe way back. And then he came to Nashville, and Chet Atkins put Elvis and Felton together because Chet didn't like those late night hours that Elvis had in the studio. So Uncle Felton worked with him for all those years. And I got to tell you a story about the Christmas album. You know, like in the music business, you have to record your Christmas albums in the summertime to get them out in time. And people are always in the Christmas spirit in July. So Elvis was not feeling this particular recording session. So my uncle got my Aunt Mary to bring a Christmas tree to the studio. And she called my mother and said, "You got any decorations we could have to put on a tree for us?" So Mama got up in the attic and got all these decorations out that were put away. I picked them up, took them to the studio. So our Christmas decorations were there with Elvis when he recorded his Christmas album. So
that is so cool.
That is a great story.
So don't wash those ornaments.
What did you think about Elvis back in those days? Did you feel like amazing that you knew him, or because he was family? Was it a more generic?
I never got to meet Elvis myself. And that's how guarded he was. You know, I knew a lot of the Memphis Mafia. I met a lot of those guys and the guys in Elvis's band and stuff. But Elvis was not the most successful.
Do you know Larry London, one of his drummers? Did you ever meet him?
I met him. Yes, he was a great drummer.
Great player. Gosh, I was at Full Sail Center for the Recording Arts taking my engineering degree, and I was amazed when he came and played. He was one of the first people I've seen. This was in the 90s to use electronic triggers off of an acoustic drum kit. And it was funny because all these people at school, all the guys with long hair and tattoos with barbed wire and listen to Queensryche were spandex. And, you know, there's some scary pictures that my kids don't want to see. Anyhow, you know, Larry came in and all these metalheads are like, "Who's this guy? Fucking Elvis, blah, blah." Now, it took me a long time as a New York guy to really get the gist of Elvis, but I got to admit, one time I was just sitting listening to some of his old stuff, and I went, wow, I started getting the voice. Yeah. The voice is what, I mean, until that time, it was exceptional. Tell me, friend, did you grow up with any Elvis inclinations, or was he a rock and roll?
I think In the Ghetto was probably my first introduction. I used to play that little 45. I hate to go back that far, how old I really am, right? Played that 45 forever. Can't Help Falling in Love is my husband's and my wedding song.
Wow, great.
But I have to tell you guys, and for people who love it, I happened to see the most recent movie, the Elvis movie, and I'm going to tell you that it was amazing.
I've heard the guy who played Elvis was extraordinary. I had not
he channeled Elvis. I think he really channeled Elvis, and I know they left out a lot of stuff that wasn't really necessary anyway in the movie. I think it gave me as a fan definitely insight. Let's just say that. And of course, the music is phenomenal.
Well, you know, I'm kind of from what I've read about it. Go ahead, Donna.
Well, it's a lot of the things in it. I can vouch for a lot of the things that they told in the movie because of what my uncle would tell me. So, I mean, they did have to embellish some things because it's Hollywood, of course. But a lot of the stuff that came out in that movie is true, especially about the things that Colonel Parker did to Elvis or deprived him of opportunities and et cetera. That's all true.
That's heart-wrenching when you see that. That's kind of gut-wrenching because you just really kind of wonder. And of course, Priscilla Presley, who's alive and well, God bless, and his daughter, they've sanctioned the movie. So, you know that a lot of those interactions are real.
That's too bad that they felt like they were unhappy. I didn't realize that. You know, I've heard that the guy was, like you said, channeling Elvis. I really want to see the movie now that you're reminding me of it. I've heard it's exceptional.
He deserves an Oscar. He does.
I agree. If Rami Malek could win for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury, then I apologize that the name of this actor escapes me, but this guy definitely earns an Oscar for this.
They were going to have Baron Cohen come in and play Elvis, which at first I thought was pretty brilliant choice, but apparently Borat was difficult to work with, so they parted ways.
You know what? A true actor can be anybody. Like I always say that, one of my favorite all-time movies is Forrest Gump. And the reason is because Tom Hanks became the character. He wasn't playing somebody. He was really whoever this, and this is a made-up character. So imagine
it was a happier version of Sling Blade.
Imagine how much pressure you're under when Elvis's ex-wife is alive. His daughter is watching and listening. And I mean, they walked the carpet with this guy. They were so pleased with his performance. I mean, you couldn't get a better endorsement than Elvis himself.
That is, I mistakenly heard you. I thought at first that they weren't happy with it.
Oh, no.
That would be horrible. Imagine doing the movie and busting your ass, putting your whole heart into it. Then you find out that Mrs. Presley does not like it.
That would not be good.
I don't know if you can see it, but I have Elvis over here watching over us.
There we go. Elvis is in the building.
That's the king.
He's everywhere.
Elvis is always watching us. My shirt's not quite as hip as his, but that's a big shirt to fill up. It's funny. People always, here we are. It's the holidays. People who write, a lot of folks who've read about Elvis and stuff, all they focus on is the negative stuff you've read about, and you've heard about. But you know what I'll say? People are freaking human and they have frailties, just like anybody. Just because he was Elvis Presley and we see this amazing figure who's just larger than life for decades. But you got to know, there was no template for being a rock star at that point. There was big bands, but there was no guy who came out and was like Elvis until he came along. And, all of my mom's generation and your generation loved him. My mom thought Elvis was great. I didn't have a clue what was up with him until I started playing country music in my late 20s in Florida. And so even though I'm a New York guy, I have played all over the South and I have my redneck credentials. I can play any country song, any Southern rock. I can harmonize. I can sing the tunes. But, until I started doing that, that's when I finally got Elvis, because he bridges the R&B, the country music, the gospel elements. I didn't realize that 50 years ago or 40 years ago when I was getting into music. I knew that I had to play with this Elvis entertainer who was a complete lunatic. This is a true story. The guy I was talking about who got his ass whipped by a big girl, the big girl ended up bumping her tooth on the ground. So she had no tooth here.
Whoopsie.
So when she stood up and I see her just whipping the hell out of Elvis, I hate to say it, Elvis was difficult to work for. I laughed. I said, I'm not getting
cheering her on, weren't you? You were egging her on.
It's already, there's blood drawn. I'm just going to sit back and feed on the popcorn.
Wow. That's just
let me tell you what happened, and I can't make this up. After the gig and the police had been called, I'm pissed off for a few reasons. Number one, we got like an hour and a half, 2-hour ride from like Fort Myers or somewhere back to Tampa. Secondly, Elvis is wicked lit. He's had a bunch of blow. He's drank too much. He's had his ass whipped by a girl. He was not feeling like the king on the ride home. So you have to remember back then, Interstate 75 was being built in Florida for a long time, and it was right through the middle of nowhere. Now, Sarasota, all the cities are built all around the interstate. But back then, it was a straight shot all the way down to Fort Myers. There was nothing there. I remember seeing a cougar run across the road on a different trip at 2 a.m. So on the way back, Elvis decides there's nobody around here, and I'm going to pull an Elvis move. So I'm blissfully asleep, thinking all that shit's behind me. And I hear boom, boom, boom. Now, in those days, every sign on 75 had gunshot wounds. I mean, this had to be 20 years ago. So when I hear the gunfire, I immediately am like, I wake up, I'm panicked, I'm pissed as soon as I realize what's going on. And I'm not always the most tactful person when people start breaking out weapons and endangering my free passage. And so I yell up to him and I go, "The hell is wrong with you, you moron? You knock it off before we end up going to jail." He turns around, he goes, "Shut the hell up." He didn't say that. He a little more than that. He goes, "I was a Marine." Of course, I couldn't resist myself. I said, "Well, I don't give a shit, jarhead. You got any other defects? And that got him really upset because I messed with the core. I'm going to tell you something. He came damn close to just having a skinny rock guy beat the hell out of him because I'm a drummer and I've never been in the Army. But this guy I saw him how he handled himself with a girl. He didn't want to tangle with a 150-pound, 25-year-old drummer with an attitude large as Texas, man. I'm not like that anymore. But when I was 25, you know, when you're 25, you think you're invincible. You rule the world. So I rather laughed watching Elvis getting his ass whipped. And he always bought us shitty food for dinner. Like the whole band, we gripe. So here's what happens. And I'm not making this up. On the way home, all my drums are loaded up. And he kept mouthing off at me about the gun. And I finally said to him, look, man, I don't give a shit how many gun citations and lessons you've taken. Just the fact you're shooting a freaking weapon out the window at 2 a.m. I don't want to go to jail. And you already almost caused that an hour ago. So knock it off. He goes, I'll put you out of the road if you say one more thing. Well, I'm that guy.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
like, son of a bitch. I said, you drop me off if you're gonna, but I'm not taking any more shit and riding with you. He goes, pull over. And the guy driving the van's a guy named Eddie, like your dog, bass player. Nice guy. His mom was dating Elvis. I'm not going to go. I can't say too much more. People will know who I'm talking about. However, Elvis tries to put me out on the road with my drum kit, and I'm spitting that. I told the bass player and him, I said, you know what? I think it's time we part ways. I've had enough of your shitty pay, your shitty meals, and your shitty hotel rooms. And I think you're an asshole. So here, how about this? If you drop me off here on the road, I know everybody in Tampa. And I'm going to tell them you're a drunken lunatic shooting a gun out the window. And you drop me off on fucking Highway 75 at 3 a.m. And everybody in town's going to know what you're really made about. Because they know me. They know I'm a big mouth. They know I'm in a lot of things. But they know I don't deserve getting dropped off on the road at 3 a.m. So my friend driving is sitting there going, what do I do? I've got my mom's boyfriend runs the band, and I got my drummer friend I've known for years. What do I do? I told him there's a Days Inn back there. Go back to the Days Inn. So I get to the Days Inn. They put me out. I go get a baggage cart. I got all my drums and shit loaded up, my long hair. I'm in like my band clothes, and I go in, and there's a bunch of, nice as Sam Rourke would call them, grits, girls raised in the South. And they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. I'm like, hey, girls, what's happening? And they go, what happened? Why are you here with all your drums? And I laughed. I said, I told Elvis to go fuck himself. And they didn't quite know what. And then I told them the story. Well, the best part of the story is I called my long-suffering roadie and sound man for the band, Ralph Hartling. Ralph, if you're watching, man, I love you. Don't worry. I won't call you from New York if I get in jail or anything. I call Ralph 2 a.m. and I go, hey, buddy. He's like, Neil? I go, yeah, man, I'm just down the street from your house. He's like, well, don't come here. What are you doing? It's like 3 a.m. Why are you calling me? Actually, he said it like this because he's from Boston. He goes, Neil, what are you doing, man? It's fucking 2 a.m. I go, dude, I'm down the street at the Days Inn. He goes, what are you doing there? You've out screwing around with some floozy. Get her to drive you home. The whole thing's getting bad. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything like that. I told Elvis to bugger off and he was going to shoot me. So he dropped me off at the hotel. He's like, well, get a room for the night. I'm like, come on, Ralph, man, you can't leave me here. I've got, 8 country women. They're going to take me and carry me away. I'm in deep shit, man. And he goes, oh, Nelly. He hops in the van, comes pick me up. He laughed his ass off on the ride home when I told him who it was and what happened. The best part, after this happened, I didn't see him for a long time. 2 years later, he calls me to play a New Year's Eve gig as a fill-in. I played, it was the worst night performing in my entire 60 years. On the way home, I once again told him, Happy New Year, lose my phone number. And on the way back, rather than hopping on the bus with everybody and putting my drums on, I load my shit in my car and I'm driving. And back then, I'm driving in the dark out in the middle of nowhere, fields and fields of oak, of pine trees and shit. It's Florida, late at night. County Line Road now dead ends at a big, huge subdivision. But in those days, there was a barbed wire fence there. And all it was pastures where all hippies would go get their mushrooms and shit. Not that I ever knew anything about that.
No, of course not.
Of course not. But as I'm driving, I'm looking at the bus and I'm thinking in my head, we're coming up to Dale Mabry Highway, man. You better freaking slow down. And I'm watching him. He's not slowing down. Now, he was 10 feet tall and bulletproof drunk. Elvis is driving the bus, which is it's another reason not to ride with him is if he's driving the bus. You'd feel, believe it or not, you'd feel safer with me, especially now that I'm sober. But even back then, at my worst intoxication, I could drive a bus better than this lunatic. He's supposed to turn right, and he's doing 60 miles an hour when all of a sudden his lights in his brain turn on. And he starts to turn the bus, and to my astonished eyes, the bus starts to teeter. He makes the corner, and then it flips over.
Oh!
Bam, 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 down the line of fence posts.
Oh, boy.
And I had one of those big, enormous brick cell phones back then. The thing weighed like a brick, literally. It's called a Nokia brick. So I see him crash, and I'm just losing it. I'm like, I can't stand this guy, but I hope he's not dead, you know? And I run up to the bus, and Elvis is in there. He's cussing. He's kind of beat up. He's got some little blood on his head.
Oh, geez.
Got some on his Elvis shirt. Anyway, I'm yelling at him through the window going, I'm going to kick the windshield out. Get the fuck out of the way. Pardon my French, people. Anyway, I kick the window out. Elvis comes out. He's looking pretty bedraggled. Now, I had just had harsh words with him, told him, don't call me ever again. So he looks at me. He goes, what are we going to do? I said, it's not a we thing here. It's a you thing. I'll be glad to give you a phone call or two. In fact, I'll stay here for 10 minutes. He goes, well, you got to stay for the cops to come. I need a witness. I'm out of here, man. I let him make his phone calls, told him, get your shit. I didn't like him, leave him on the roadside completely alone. I sent the troops to see him, but it was one of those nights, only in rock and roll and music biz do you have these wonderful experiences that 40 years later, you go, I'm just glad I survived. I'm particularly glad my kid and myself weren't in the bus because one of the Leslies went through the side of the bus.
Oh, geez. That's terrible.
It was buried half in the field, along with a few other things that just got smashed under it when it hit the road. But life goes on, and that's a Christmas story I'll always remember.
We all have one.
I sat there at this venue calling friends going, please, man, somebody come out here. I'm here alone with these savages. I was playing at the Dallas Bull in Tampa, Florida, which anybody watching this will remember is a huge country shed, man, 800 people a night. Now they've got this huge mega place in Tampa that I haven't been yet, but they tell me it's nice. And that's my funky tale, and I've run out the clock talking smack, but I hope you enjoyed my tale of woe.
Oh yeah, well, you're here to tell the tale. That's the important thing.
It was a good story, and tell you before we go, Donna, would you like to sing one more tune and give us something you really like?
How about why don't I play my Elvis in the toll booth?
I think that's great.
I think it's
King, thank you, man.
The King.
We got to do it now because we're going to talk about toll booth Elvis, right? Here we go. Driving down the highway, it's been another crazy day. It's getting late and I'm ready to crash. Need to get home fast. I pulled up to a toll booth looking for some spare change to see a familiar sight. Looks like the King. Think I had too much to drink. I saw Elvis in a toll booth on I-90. I guess Chicago is his raceland now. He's driving well, and I'm here to tell I saw Elvis in a toll booth on I-90. Thought it was a dream and I couldn't wait to find out, so I went back the next night. I saw him there, gold chains and his big black hair. He smiled when I drove up, he said, thank you very much, as I gave him my 80 cents and I drove on through. It's strange but true, I saw Elvis in a toll booth on I-90. Guess Chicago is Graceland now. He's alive and well, and I'm here to tell. I saw Elvis in a toll booth on I-90. I'll play it for the king, baby. I saw Elvis in a toll booth on I-90. I guess Chicago is Graceland now. He's alive and well, and I'm here to tell. I saw Elvis in a toll booth on I-90. Yeah, I did. It was a big hunk of burning love, y'all. Merry Christmas.
All right, everybody, you've been on Live with Neve. The great Donna Frost. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. We love you, and have a great weekend. I'll be back at 4 o'clock with Phil Parlapiano, and we'll see you then, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. West Coast time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.